story about a mom's struggle to get her daughter the treatment that she needs.
You know, when her daughter is in crisis, the only place that she can turn to is the ER, a place not suitable to provide the psychiatric care that she requires. And it's a problem many families here in our state are experiencing. And ABC 2 News' Mallory Safaste tells us about the shortage of long-term treatment options for our kids with mental health disorders.
Christina Zucker reached her breaking point.
One exit on 95 from Aberdeen to Havre de Grace, and she all of a sudden was like, I'm getting out of the car.
Instead of fighting the urge, Zucker's 14-year-old daughter fought to jump out of the car.
I, had to grab her by the zipper of her sweatshirt to keep her in the car, and I pulled over on the shoulder. Thank God I was in the right lane. And we got home, and I just sobbed, and it was just this release of, first, thank God we're safe, and secondly, just this release of emotion that I now know I cannot do this myself.
Zucker adopted Elia from Russia when she was 4 years old. She knew she had special needs and has since been diagnosed as having an intellectual and emotional disability.
She's a ninth grader who functions around kindergarten to beginning of second grade academically.
She can't always control her impulses, and the last year and a half, Zucker has struggled to keep her daughter safe. The most recent episode wasn't her first, and it also wasn't her first time in the emergency department. It was, however, her first time waiting 3 weeks for a psychiatric inpatient bed.
The wait for some kids is a day or two. The wait for us was 3 weeks.
Because of her intellectual disability, Elia must go to a neuropsychiatric unit, Shepherd Pratt more specifically. But to do so, there needs to be an available bed.
So it's such a specific need. This neurobehavioral psych unit at Shepherd Pratt is it for her, and they have 14 beds.
Aside from their limited capacity, finding a more permanent solution has been an even greater challenge. Residential treatment facilities turn away Zucker's daughter because of her low IQ. Few are staffed and equipped to provide that kind of specialized care. Even outside of her specific needs, residential psychiatric treatment centers for all juveniles in the state is shrinking.
3 Maryland residential treatment centers closed over the period of about 6 months. This was last year.
Ann Geddes, public policy director with Maryland Coalition of Families, says their closings reduced the bed capacity by 1/3.
This is a huge problem for juveniles. You could argue that it's greater for juveniles. Just about every hospital in the state has a inpatient psych unit for adults, but only a very handful have inpatient psychiatric units for kids.
There's a term for these kids. Stuck kids. They get stuck in the ER and stuck in a cycle of short-term placements with no long-term resolution.
For the time being, if you have a child with these kinds of conditions and these needs, what are your options?
Yeah, you stay in the emergency department for 21 days. You don't have a lot of options.
Geddes says there needs to be crisis prevention and intervention and better community-based services if we want to keep kids from being hospitalized. But for now, that's some parents' only option.
I'm always going to be her mom. I just can't provide what she needs in the home.
Christina was able to find a suitable residential school for her daughter. It's on the Eastern Shore and has a pool. Elia was on the Special Olympics Maryland swim team. Christina's hopeful that she'll do well there, but she's been told that they won't have a female bed opening until July. For ABC 2 News, I'm Mallory Safaste.